Long queues of vehicles waiting for petrol return to the capital city. Some motorists have been on the queue since the early hours of today without hope of buying petrol in sight. At the NNPC filling station in Guzapi, there are 10 pumps, but only 2 are dispensing fuel at the time of our visit. The product is sold at 162 naira, but attendance is slow, a situation which motorists find frustrating as they wait under the scorching sun.
We'll be here for 4 or 5 or 6 hours without fuel, and we're a nation that may be the 4th largest world producer of crude oil without without fuel in our country, and it's extremely very sad, very, very sad indeed.
The other filling station before we left, they are selling the fuel 178 naira per liter. Now some people came there and closed the filling station. We now left there and came to this filling station in NNPC at Sokoro. Now actually here they are working well, but the queue is much.
At Area 3, the situation is the same. Long queues and motorists waiting endlessly. It's also rowdy, and COVID-19 safety protocols are scarcely observed. The pump price here is 163 naira, but only a few pumps are dispensing, as motorists allege shady moves by some persons working at the station.
See, I'm there. If I give 500, you won't enter. If not give you 500, you're not allowed to enter.
It's however a different sight at Area 2, where this major petrol station has shut its gates against motorists, saying the product is no longer available. And at the central area, the petrol station located opposite the NNPC tower has a long queue of vehicles waiting to be served. Some, however, seem to have lost hope as they patronize black marketers who make brisk sales of the product. Officials of the Department of Petroleum Resources are, however, not seen monitoring the situation, as at the time of our visit, and efforts to reach them proved abortive, as they would not pick their calls nor reply messages sent to them. Meanwhile, a statement released by the NNPC management dismisses claims of scarcity and price increment. It also cautions petroleum products marketers against hoarding. It's not certain when the long queues at the filling stations in the nation's capital will vanish or reduce and normalcy return. But one thing is certain, that if nothing is done to check the situation, both commuters and motorists may face tougher situation in days ahead. Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
Yesterday, or are on another queue this morning. President of Petrol Products Retailers Association of Nigeria. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program. Okay, Chairman, you want to take this?
Well, just wondering, having seen the way some of these things are turning out, we've heard from the NNPC saying there is no reason whatsoever why there should be queues. So could you break it down for us? What do you think is happening? Why are these queues where they are at the moment? Can you hear me? Okay, well, could you tell us why do we have queues now? Because the authorities are saying there's no reason for there to be few queues right now. Okay, it doesn't. Or if you can hear me, you may need to unmute yourself. That's not happening yet. Well, we'll see what we can do with that. Mr. Billy, well, we'll come back to that and hope to sort that out. So, as it is now, it's not a pleasant thing. The NNPC did put up that word that there was no adjustments whatsoever for the month of March. So they see no reason why there should be queues. But as you know, there will always be reasons why there shouldn't be, and there will always be, especially, look at that, the FCT didn't find it funny yesterday when all of this happened, and you just were, how does this happen overnight?
It's a very complex dynamic, given when you find out that on the one hand are the queues, on the other hand is the statement of the officials. Question then is, where do we have the lacuna? And that conversation needs to be heard, because it's not just going to go away. This is a trend. We all know these things will, happen from time to time. Government officials will put out a statement, and then the people that are supposed to be affecting it are doing something completely different. And why is this happening in Abuja City specifically?
Because the petrol retailers
exactly
are the ones people are accusing, saying, you retailers, what are you doing to us?
Okay, so this is happening in the Federal Capital Territory. And if it happens in Abuja, be sure it's going to happen in every other city. It's like what happens in Abuja happens in Lagos.
I wish I can be on sure that it won't happen.
I'm just hoping it doesn't, because if the word is not right, if the word is not rightly put out there, that's the risk that we're running. I don't know if Mr. Harry can hear us now.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us again. So, question that we have asked.
Good morning.
Yeah. Why are there queues now, contrary to what the officials are saying?
Well, the empirical evidence is superior to imagination, so just say so. Clearly, queues are building up, and petrol prices are fluctuating. And of course, retail outlets, regardless of what they are, whether they're NNPC or independents or major marketers, are having problem stocking. So the fact that there is any accusation of retailers hoarding product is not there. It's the fact that about a month ago, we have already seen this trend building. And as a responsible association, we have sounded some notes of caution to ensure that we are able to assess petroleum product at the price that is being offered by PPMC. The reality is that NNPC has not changed prices. There is no official price increase of any kind, but we are not able to stock our retail outlets at 148.69, which will guarantee sales at 162, 163. So that is the reality. The reality is that we cannot stock because the cost of buying product is high, and that is the real evidence that you're seeing there. So if
what
it's
is the
happening
cost?
In Abuja,
pardon me, so what is the cost
is
now?
simple. I can tell you what right now we are buying not just directly from the NNPC depots, we're also buying from other retail outlets at prices as close as 163 a liter. So nobody is going to buy at that price, transport the product with about 3 to 5 naira, and then come and sell anything less. So the earlier we all tell ourselves the truth, the better. We have issues of paying for product also with PPMC because we just got a new payment regime digitally online, which is very good. But at the end of the day, the efficiency is questionable. And these are things that we must all look into. When policies are going to be made, time should be given, education and enlightenment should be carried out. Retail outlet owners love Nigerians. We are human beings and we feel for the stability and the growth of the economy. And we are willing to do the best at all times, knowing that petrol is actually the fuel for the economy. So the reality is that we cannot restock. That is the reality.
So when the NNPC says there will not be any price increase in the month of March, and you say, well, you can only get this at 163, and for you to probably make profit, you need to sell way higher than that. What do you make of NNPC's statement? Because clearly, this looks like an increase.
Well, The reality is that we need to have empirical evidence. We need to have facts to back, some of these statements. It's very easy to make any statement, but it's another thing to see that statement actually translated into reality. For us as retail outlet owners, we want to stay within the ambit of the law. We want to give the best support to the government. We want to give our products out to Nigerians at a price that's affordable to encourage stability and the growth of the economy. But the fact that prices are not being increased officially has not stopped retail outlet owners from being squeezed by depots that are selling to us at prices beyond 148.69. So that is the reality. And nobody is going to keep buying that kind of product to sell. So that's why most stations don't have product, because they are not going to be able to invest 168 naira to buy product and then try to sell it for 162.63. That's already a lost market.
So is this information?
That is the reality.
Right. So is this reality, which you just painted, is it lost on the NNPC? Because why would the NNPC say that when clearly that is not the reality?
Well, NNPC is telling you the fact of what they know. And they know that because NNPC has retail outlets, don't forget. And these retail outlets, try as much as they can to struggle to sell at the price that is within that ambit. But how many pumps are being, attended to right now in even the NNPC retail outlets? So there are questions that we need to ask. And it's time for us as Nigerians to really love our country. Petrol is a key factor to growing this economy. Without petrol in your car, you will not have been on this television station now. So that is how important the retail outlet owner and the retail outlet is. We are the grassroots, the last important mile in the value chain.
Right, let me do something a bit unconventional.
As Nigerians, to be able
Mr. Harry,
put in the best effort.
Right.
Yes.
If you can hear me, let me do something a bit unconventional. So you say there are questions to ask. If you could ask the NNPC those questions now, what would those questions be?
Well, NNPC will tell you, I asked, as the leader of the retail outlet owners in this country, I asked a question, and the answers I get are pretty much the same thing you're seeing on the pages of newspaper, but I know different. Because my members are calling me, I've not slept today. I've not slept today. I didn't sleep last night because every state that is having problem with either the government or the DPRO or everybody is calling for the National Executive Council of Petron to make decisions.
Mr. Harry, what is the question? What is the question you're asking NNPC?
The question I'm asking is, why would we have the PPMC ex-depot price at 148.69, and we are not able to access that product while the retail, the private depots are making us to buy at 158, 159, 160, 161, 162, and nothing is being done in those outlets, in those depots.
Okay, so
because there is nowhere else petrol is being imported. Petrol is being imported, by NNPC alone. So we shouldn't have different prices in different areas.
How much is your outlet selling, for instance?
Well, right now, my outlets, most of my outlets don't have fuel. My own personal outlets don't have fuel.
So what's the reasonable price?
We are trying to...
Now.
Well, the price, if I got at NNPC for 148.69, I'm duty-bound to sell it at minimum of 162.
But people are selling for 173.
Most of my members are doing.
So why are they selling for 173?
Yeah, but that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you, that those products that are selling at 173, 170 is because they are buying from second and third parties. That is the reality, and we cannot keep doing that. We will run foul of the law.
It will seem the more we know about this, the less we actually know. But those questions you asked need to be answered, especially by the NNPC. But we appreciate your time this morning, Mr. Gillis-Harry.
I'm hoping that the authorities will in reality, look into answering questions, not having meeting with labor unions. I mean,
big one you raised there.
Talking to...
Well, Mr. Harry, definitely this conversation is not over. But we have to go now, pardon me. But we'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Gillis-Harry, National President of PPPRA. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us this morning.
Well, so many messages have come in so far about what we have read so far. So many things. I'm interested in some, but then there's this one from Yomi Williams, the very first, about this pricing. A model where price of PMS increases as price of crude goes up will always return a regressive impact on an economy like ours with diminishing purchasing power and lack of infrastructure and public transport systems, as well as electricity for businesses and homes.
Adewale says about COVID-19, apart from the challenges mentioned by the guest, a major challenge that is very difficult to tackle is the conspiracy theories about COVID-19 and the vaccines.
Mark,
it says about the Jangebe schoolgirls release, there is never any arrest. That is why it keeps happening. It is a money-making venture for those in the know. Organized syndicate at its best. Unfortunately, families suffer, schoolgirls are traumatized, lives ruined. I smell a rat. No one will ever get arrested. Never. Well, it's a wait and see on this particular one. Isioma, let's see how it goes. Well, on that note, we have to wrap up. We still have some more, but we're totally out of time. Thank you so much for sending in those comments, as always. And keep it locked down here, because we're still following for you developments in Zamfara, as the schoolgirls have been released, 276 of them. Thank you for watching this morning. I'm Maokwe Ogun Yusuf.
Well, I'm Carried Okikulu.
But that message from Bethel Banigo about Bonny Waterways hasn't gone unnoticed. Well, thank you so much all the same. I'm Ayo Makinde.
Well, there's several that haven't got a notice. Thank you all. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. I'm Chamberlain also.